Hey guys, so I am doing my character presentation on Ivan, the main character in The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Leo Tolstoy. So the story is set in 19th century, 18th century Russia, and it follows Ivan, who is a lawyer works in the court system, and it shows how he basically drives himself insane by his family and his kids, and how he basically only strives for status and more money and doesn't really actually get any real relationships. And by the end of the story, it shows how he regrets all of this, and all of these emotions start flooding to him, and how he basically wishes that he did everything different and didn't focus too much on material things like money or status or marrying just for the sake of looking good socially. So, how does the character Ivan interact with his family? Well, he basically neglects them and doesn't really even look at them as a pleasure in his life. He only looks at playing cards and money and status. That's where he gets his pleasure. He doesn't get his pleasure from his family or his kids. And even in the story, they talk about how some of the kid or one of his kids dies, and it's like they kind of just went right by that, like it didn't even matter. And I feel like that also shows how Ivan was, and how he really didn't care too much about his family and what was really going on with them. He just wanted his wife to stop nagging him, his kids to leave him alone. That's how he really treated the other characters in the story. In terms of the theme, well, he is the theme, him dying and death being the theme. As he's on his deathbed, he starts to realize that, hey, I did everything wrong. This is not how I should have lived my life, and they're kind of better off without me in terms of his family, his friends. That's pretty much where the death of Ivan Ilyich and how he is the theme comes into play. So I'll read a passage from the book that I feel like best describes the theme of the story. It's on page 879. It's towards the end of the story. It occurred to him that the notion had previously seemed to him completely a complete impossibility, that he had not lived his life as he should have. It occurred to him that his barely noticeable attempts at struggling against what was considered good by those of high positions of him, those barely noticeable attempts which he had immediately rejected, could be genuine, and everything else wrong. His work and the structure of his life and his family and his social and professional interests, all that could be wrong. He tried to defend all of that to himself, and suddenly he felt the fragility and what he was defending, and there was nothing to defend. So it basically shows that there's really nothing to defend. There's nothing of him trying to attempt to have a life outside of work. You can't really, he couldn't really defend that he tried to really even have a family. Because yeah, he had a wife, he had kid, but he had wife, he had kids, but he didn't actually have a family and a cohesive, family that they actually cared, and they didn't look at each other as a burden. Which I can kind of feel for him, because his wife was not. It seemed like she was the one that always started arguing, and it drove him insane, and it drove him away from him. But he didn't really try to rekindle that relationship at all. They just dealt with each other the whole story. It also shows, or it also says that he had not lived his life as he should have done. Could be the truth. It occurred to him that his barely noticeable attempts at struggling against what was considered good by those of high positions of him. I think that goes to show how higher positions, people of power, and people that he worked with, he wanted their approval. So he wanted to be the best at his job, and he wanted to get married just for that social, just to be accepted. All right, so the character's appearance. Well, in the story, it says that Ivan has a beard. It did say that. And I feel like for a man that wanted to basically show off everything, he wanted nice curtains, nice linen, and all that. I bet he was really well dressed. So I could imagine him. He's a lawyer, works in courts. He probably has on a suit. He's probably I don't think that he would be a really fat guy. I don't think he gives it off. I feel like he's well put together. Beard. I don't know about his hair though. He might have. I could see him with short hair. Being a lawyer, he can't just like blow it all. It can't be like long, greasy hair. It's probably he probably he probably goes to the barber. He probably cuts his hair almost every other week. So yeah, beard, cut hair, nice clothes. I think he's really well dressed. And the character's background. What do we know about the person's history? Well, we go through his upbringing, and his father and mother had two of their kids, I believe. One was a failure, as they say in the story, and they actually refer to a specific page. These pages are not flipping. That's for sure. They looked at Ivan as what they call Le Phoenix de la Familia, which is the phoenix of the family. The word phoenix is used to describe a rare bird or a prodigy. So he was destined for success, is what they basically started to say, and how he was going to be this high value lawyer and this guy that's going to make a lot of money. And I feel like that right there, and how he got brought up being this prodigy and being this golden child, he probably was destined for nothing but work. And that basically shows the whole story right there, how he kind of just only thought about his ambitions towards his career and never really thought how I could actually form relationships with my family and my wife, and I don't have to hate my family or resent my family, and which is the ultimate theme and the ultimate regret at the end of the story. So, yeah, thank you.